Yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Fit, and you'll listen to Attacking the Beats on IllMuzik.com. 5 beats, 5 reviews, that's what I do. And we're going to kick it off right away with D-Cop with Goodness. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was D-Cop with Goodness. Now, see, with a beat like this, the things when I'm reviewing these beats is that I'm trying to picture how can this beat be used, like whether it's going to stand on its own as an instrumental, whether the person is trying to sell their beat, or whether they want to work with an MC on top of this, whatever the case may be, So a lot of times I'm really, looking at it from a point of view as like, if I was a rapper, would I want this beat and all that stuff? How can I lay my vocals on top or whatever, something like that. So in this case, I think it'd be difficult to put some vocals on top of this, but the beat itself, what you have, the way it's mixed and put together, it sounds very, very good. I do like it. I really like the bass line, actually. It just blends in well with the main melody. Everything just sounds really good like that. It just mixed well together, the bass line, that melody, and the drums. I do expect the drums to pop a little more than that, but still, it does fit very well with what you have. And I do like what you have with the pattern, things trailing off and all that stuff. It does sound good, and the horns are a nice addition. A little too loud in some places, but still, I'd scale back on the horns a bit, but still, it does sound good. The main thing is the mix. Everything just sounds really good together and stuff. But like I said, when I'm reviewing these beats, I'm just trying to picture, like, what's this guy going to do with the beat? Like, how is he going to use it? What does he intend to do with it? Whatever, So, because like when I make beats, I'm just trying to think about, if I'm going to put some like an instrument, an acapella on top of it, or if I'm going to scratch on top of it, or just put like vocal snippets or something, will it fit? So in your case, I don't really think so for the vocal part stuff. But other than that, though, on its own, I think it's solid. It's just that a couple of tweaks here and there, but that's again, that's just to my liking. Especially when it comes to drums and all that stuff. I like some nice hard drums, but still, I like it. Good beat. All right, so next up we got DJ Nwazi with Rick Ross. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was DJ Nwazi with Rick Ross. I think it was your beat in the last episode, 209 there. I think it was you where I mentioned the same kind of thing with this beat. It's similar to that one I remember where it's like, it's good. I like the way it's put together. It's just like stuff like the horns, for example. I would just scale back on, like I was saying in the previous episode where, I'm not a big fan of the synth horns, but they're clean and everything. It's just because I know they're synth horns, you know what I mean? Like I know they're artificial, if you will, you know what I mean? Versus like a real horn or something. And you can get some real sounding horns from various plugins. They sound really, really good, but not everybody can get a hold of those things. But still, for what you have though, the mix, it does sound really good. I just suggest you just scale back on the horns throughout the whole thing, because the horns go all the way through and all that stuff. And what I really like though is when you have that little, like it sounds like almost like a ghost or something, like a ghost sound, like a synth all the way in, like down below. It sounds like, you know what I mean? So that I do like in the mix. It does sound good. So good job on that. But drums are good. Everything's good on that. The main thing is, I think that was the same thing with the last episode. It was just the horns. I was like, just scale back a bit, just change it up, give it some breathing room and all that. But still, anyway, good beat. I like it. And yeah. All right, so next up we got Fury Beats with Boy Meets Girl. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Fury Beats with Boy Meets Girl. It's funny because with hip hop, it's like you take a beat like this and on its own, it doesn't sound right? It just sounds off. And I think it's because, you have that drum pattern, especially the kicks, right? When it came in, it just threw me off. And it's interesting because I'm listening to it thinking to myself, well, actually, if you had somebody rapping on top of this, it'd be perfect for that MC, right? It would, because you think about some of these rappers. I'm not necessarily ones today, but I remember the ones from the 90s. You'd have guys that, like, for example, right off the top of my head, of course, is Old Dirty Bastard. Something like this is like something that's off key or whatever at a sync. It's like something that's perfect for him. So in your case, it kind of falls in that category or whatever. So I do like the fact that it's off, but I'm not saying your beat is off, but I'm just saying like the pattern, just kind of threw me off. So it does sound off in a way, right? So I think it would work, if you had the right person on top of it. But still, it does sound good. I like it with the strings and everything. Everything sounds good, except when you bring in that boy sample, like that. I would just say, okay, I would get rid of that part. And as I'm listening to it, I'm thinking to myself, what actually would be good is if you had something that where it says the title Boy Meets Girl, but pitch it really low where it just sounds really gutter, you know. They just have that come in here and there, like something like, you know, whatever. Anyway, something really like low, you know, pitch down really low. You know what I mean? You know. Anyway, that's what I'm just picturing as I'm listening to it. So try that. Maybe that'll work. I don't know, but I would get rid of what you have for that, for the vocal part, and try that Boy Meets Girl, really deep and low and stuff. Just have it in a couple spots, you know. And yeah, if you can get some acapella to put on top of this, I guarantee you it'll work. You got to get the right one though, but I guarantee it would just sound really good with a nice vocal track on top. All right, so next up we've got a tenor key with Low Candy. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was got a tenor key with Low Candy. This one's a really interesting beat because the mix is really good. You know, it does sound really good. The drums are good, except for that snare. I really don't like that snare. And the thing is, though, I would say keep it, but just, you know, for me, I would add something with that. You know, just kind of layer a little something else with it, so it doesn't sound too synthy. And the reason why is because you get that bass, which is very synthy, and especially when you have that bass, when you do that breakdown, you have just the bass playing with the drums, it's very noticeable. So that with that snare, I don't know, just kind of like, you know, I don't know. To me, it just sounded weird, you know. So it's good, but just not, you know, what I'm expecting. You know what I mean? So, but that's what I would try doing. You know, it's like, or with that bass. You know, like sometimes I've used a bass like that where it's like a synthy bass, but then I'll EQ it to muffle it, so it just sounds like thicker and like a little deeper. You know what I mean? Rather it's just like a synth bass. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would try that. You know, but still, what you have is good. I like it. It's just that for me, with that snare and that bass, you know, they're just kind of like fighting for the synth, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's just kind of weird in that way, but still, it's good, very good mix. I like it, and I do like the little sounds coming in and out and all that stuff, and also the variation of the beat, you know, the way you change things up and all that stuff. So yeah, good job on that. All right, so next up we've got the last beat. It's Reject the Ronin with I'm Good. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Reject the Ronin with I'm Good. All right, so this one, you know, it's first of all, it was only just over a minute, so it's too bad though. I don't know why some guys just send in short beats like that. I mean, I wish it would be a longer one, like 2 minutes, like it's supposed to be, because I'd have more to go on, you know, because it sounded like you cut it off early anyway, and you know, at the end and stuff. But still, what I like is like it's such a nice sample. It's really good. It's just that the whole thing sounded like an intro to me, you know, because I was waiting for some drums to come in and, you know, a proper bass line and whatever, you know, I was waiting for that to drop in and stuff. So it's too bad though, because that's what I was expecting. So, but instead it just sounded, like I said, it just sounded like a whole intro all the way in. And then you had that change up at the end to show the sample and stuff. So that's really cool and everything. I like that. But it's just that, like I said, if you had 2 minutes and you could bring in some proper drums and bass and whatnot, and then play around with the change up, maybe have like that when you reveal a sample, maybe do that like halfway through, you know what I mean? So you just, you know, show it off like that, then come back to the beat you have, something like that, you know. But yeah, it's just not what I was expecting, right? It just sounded like an intro, but it's this very good sample. They're very nice. I just really wanted to hear more from it, you know, like more of it, I should say. So yeah, but yeah, very nice sample. I like that. All right, so that's it for me. I'm Mr. Fade. This is Attack of the Beats. Keep sending your beats in. I'll keep reviewing them. And my favorite beat is, the winner is, drum roll please, Gutter Tenaki with Low Candy. Let's check it out.